And we're live. That's right, we are live now in this for this first episode of the Vegan Message. And I already see that there's someone here. It's the Vegan Pundit. Oh yes, nice to see you. Wait, well, let me see. Working out the kinks here with this StreamYard thingy. Still don't know how it. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you and welcome. Welcome, Vegan Pundits. Nice to see you here. And, what happened to your live streams? You were doing some live stream thing, a while back. And, I was looking forward to your videos and stuff. And you started doing it. And then I didn't see anymore. I don't know if something happened there or what. It would be nice to know. But yeah, what we're doing today, this is the first episode of the Vegan Message, my new segment on this channel. This year, I'm doing something completely different with the channel. I'm not doing any more of the Dear AJs or anything like that. This year, I'm gonna focus mostly on this vegan message that I want to deliver because I think it's important. I think it's time now to to set the record straight, to make things very clear, and to make the mission statement, yes, of veganism. So that's what we're gonna do. Uh, Hopefully every week. Let me see. Oh, I see. Oh well, I'll be looking forward to your videos when you come back to that. It's gonna be it's gonna be great, I'm sure. So yeah, this is something that what we're doing today. So we're gonna talk about veganism. We're gonna talk about what veganism is. We're gonna be probably be talking about what veganism is not, and then I also came prepared with a reaction. I think it's important reaction to something that I think will clarify many things now. We'll make it even more clear, like what's the vegan message and what's not. So I think it's important to show you that. So that's gonna come at some point during the live stream today. Let me see who's here. Oh yeah, the vegan pundit. Okay, and so that's what we're gonna do. Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Ali. And it's great to do this. And yes, I think we can start now. Um, yes, I'm gonna start. Anyways, it's gonna be recorded for future viewing. For the people who miss out on the live stream. And all right, so here's the thing. Now, veganism, and I know, and if you've been, online on social media and stuff like that, you already know the conversation or the debate that's going on, between certain groups of activists and stuff. And you probably heard the definition of veganism quite a few times, and you probably even read it quite a few times as well. But what's important today is not just talking about what's veganism, but why is veganism? The reason behind it. That's the key factor here. And that's what sets veganism apart from every other theory or concept or any other, thing out there, any other type of activism out there, any other type of animal activism. Yes, that's right. And the why, the reason why, that's the most important part. But the what is also important. And what is veganism at this point? Well, here's the thing. It is often said that veganism is the doctrine that man should live without exploiting animals. Well, what the heck does that even mean? Like, well, what is doctrine? What is, animals? What is man? What is all of this in this context? And what we have to understand is that what this all means is that us, the humans, who are moral agents, and moral agent is someone who obviously can discern between right and wrong. We know the difference between right and wrong. We have a complex system of morality and knowledge of this thing. We have this moral compass, and we can consciously choose to do either the right thing or the wrong thing, knowing that something is either right or wrong. Now, the animals, the other animals, the non human ones, who are just as sentient as we are, but they're not, let's say, they're moral patients because they don't have this thing, this moral compass, as developed as we do. Now, we have made of them resources. We treat them as resources. We treat them as things, objects, just things that we can use whatever we want and however we want. And the problem with this is that we know better. We really do. We know they're individuals. We know they are sentient beings. We know they have a life of their own. Everybody knows this in some level. Even if you've never really given it much thought to the lives of other animals and stuff, you kind of know in your mind, you have to know that, hey, these are other beings, but they are as alive as you are. It's just, sure, they don't aspire to be, rock stars or, heart surgeons or whatever. That doesn't make them any less worthy. And whatever it is that they do with their life, whatever it is that they have or own or do or whatever, that's theirs. It's not ours. It doesn't belong to us. Their lives don't belong to us. Their bodies don't belong to us. Nothing they produce belongs to us. So we need to understand this because this is the actual issue here. These are other beings that, yes, they look different. They're from other species, but they're not ours. They don't belong to us. We cannot do whatever the heck we want to them. It's a moral atrocity to do so. So that's why, in the definition of veganism, it states that it's humans, it's what humans are doing to the other animals. Because that's the thing that the founders of the vegan society saw that no one else was seeing at that point. Like, hey, this thing is this horrible injustice that we're committing, and it's completely unilateral. It's like it goes from humans to animals, and then it's not even, it's absolutely ridiculous, the stuff that we do to them. We use every animal basically for everything. And I'm pretty sure to this day, even if I've been vegan for almost 5 years, pretty sure there's still many, many instances and types of exploitations that I don't know anything about. Years ago, I wouldn't know that, there was animal stuff in like beer. Like, why would they filter beer through the guts of a fish? What is that? You see, it's so ridiculous that you don't even think about it. You don't even think that's a thing that exists. Because why would it be? Why would that be a thing? But it was. It still is in some cases, but I know that the beer companies, they phased out the fish part of the process, whatever. But it's like, what the heck? Why is that a thing? It doesn't even make sense. And just like that, there's animals in everything. We put animals in everything, really. We use them for whatever it is, things that we wouldn't even suspect. They grind up snails into powder to boost to brain power. Oh, snails? Who does that to snails? I don't know. I mean, years ago there was this craze of the snail saliva, whatever, this viscous liquid, whatever from the snails. It was marketed as a cosmetic product, whatever, for the ladies. Kind of crap is that? I'm sorry, but excuse my language, but come on, dude. Like, what is that? And what about that shampoo that was like whale sperm? What the heck is that? Like, why would you shampoo your hair with welcome? Like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, it just, what are we doing, really? But I guess, I mean, if there's a coffee made from the droppings of an animal in some mountain somewhere, why wouldn't we do that other thing with the shampoo? It's ridiculous. Animal use goes to places that we wouldn't normally even think, but it's there. And that's the problem, that we need to understand that this thing is wrong. And we need to understand that we need to stop it. And the reason we need to stop it is because they don't belong to us. That's the most important part of the issue. So when the definition says humans, and I know that some, idiotic debate bros out there are like, oh, well, it says humans, so Superman can exploit animals. Like, no, he cannot, because he is also a moral agent. So he knows right from wrong. So it would not be okay for him to exploit the animals of Earth, even though he's not a human technically. He's a Kryptonian or wherever it is. But that doesn't mean that he gets to exploit the other animals. He knows right from wrong. So no, he doesn't get to exploit animals. I'm sorry, no. It's not the same thing when animals do things to other animals, because as we know, they don't have that luxury. They don't have that thing. They have other lives. But that's a topic probably for another stream, because that's a completely different thing. And so yeah, when we say humans, it's because that was observed, that was happening. We're here on Earth. We're the humans. We're observing that our species is doing this thing to all the other ones. And why animals? Is that like a kingdom, animal kingdom thing? Well, obviously it's based on sentience, yes. Because again, the people who define veganism also defined what an animal was within the context of veganism. A sentient creature other than human. There you go, another sentient creature. Whether they're classified as animal or not, whatever, dude. Like in the biology or whatever, that's not what it is. Within veganism, sentient creatures other than humans, we should leave them alone as well. So if you find some alien life form that's sentient, yes, you don't get to exploit them either. This actually happened. There was this episode, I don't know if you've seen it, in this Futurama episode where they go to some weird planet and they find these tiny creatures. They don't even know they're creatures. They just seem like they look like some kind of weird alien popcorn. They take it to Earth, they market it as poplars, and they start selling by the ton. But then someone leaves some poplars out there, and the poplars actually, they show that they're these tiny creatures, but they're sentient, and they're these little alien creatures that they're sentient creatures, innocent, and so the moral question arises that, hey, maybe this thing we're doing to them, they're not just poplars, these are sentient beings that we're exploiting, so this is wrong. Obviously in the episode, well, it's the whole utilitarian thing, whatever, vegetarian, whatnot. But yeah, why were they exploiting these creatures? Now, when they find out that they're sentient, some people question it, some obviously don't. They don't care. But what's important is that no, if we were to find these poplars somewhere, yes, we would not be under veganism. It would not be permitted to exploit them because yes, even though they're from another planet, there's some other type of species or life form. They're still sentient. They're still innocent. So no. I mean, I think it's ridiculous to have to clarify this because, yes, from the definition you get what is known as a oh, let me see. Yeah, we are combating traditions grounded in religion, profiteering, and the ideology of human supremacy, tough to gain ground against all the social conditioning. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? That's the thing. I think this social conditioning is kind of a circular thing. Because if someone is like, oh yeah, I want to do this thing, but the rest of my family and my friends and my community or whatever, they're still doing it, so I don't know, I don't want to miss out on this thing, or yeah, but you don't do it because the community doesn't do it, and then the community doesn't do it because nobody stops doing it. So it's like it goes back. It's a vicious cycle where, oh, I don't want to be, bothered. I don't want to be inconvenienced. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be vegan now because it would be too, I don't know, bothersome or something. Or it would disrupt my everyday life that I know, whatever. And it would create this thing with my so-called community, so-called family, whatever. But then again, no one does it, and then the society continues to be non-vegan because the society is non-vegan. So it's weird. It's like, oh well, we're not vegan, so we're not gonna be vegan because we're not. It comes, yeah, it turns into this circular thing, which we know is one of the logical fallacies or just a terrible argument for anything, basically. So I understand that yes, we have been conditioned by our surroundings, and we never question. Sometimes we never question things. Like I remember my formative years and my adolescence and stuff like that, and when I was a young adult, even I didn't question many things. I just took whatever the grown-ups were saying for granted because obviously at first you don't know anything, so you learn from the ones who have been here the longest, or longer than you. So whatever they say, you think it's true, especially when you're a kid, when you're an infant, you take everything at face value. Um, and then it's kind of difficult to grow out of that, and I understand that part. But at some point, we have to understand, dude, look, this is wrong, and whatever your upbringing is, leave it in the past, man, because it's wrong. You have to see it, and I get it. Some people, to some, it comes easier than others. I don't know, for whatever reason it is. But it's kind of interesting because now you mention it. When I was 15, I became an atheist. Now my entire family is Catholic, and everyone I knew was either Catholic or Christian or some other religion. There was basically I only knew of one atheist, and that's it. I was like, why is that even a thing? How come this weirdo doesn't believe in God? He's obviously real, right? Like, how can he not be real? Until I found out how he could not be real, so I became an atheist, even though I was conditioned from the very beginning to be this religious person who believed in whatever. So I was able to do that at a young age, but then I still didn't see the injustice that we were doing against the animals. That one was more difficult to observe from inside this machine, basically this machine of ignorance that we're running, because that's what it is. It's just based on, yeah, I don't know, ignorance or apathy, or who knows what it is. There's many reasons. Uh, but like I've said, I mean, at some point we're gonna have to grapple with the fact that, hey, dude, you've been doing the wrong thing, so now it's time to stop and do the right thing. So, you know, so now we have established that in veganism, the oppressor is us, the humans. That's the oppressors that we know here on Earth. The machine of ignorance. Yes, exactly. It's that's what it is. It's basically that's what it is. I mean, we ignore this seemingly, like, it's obvious to us now that we're vegan. It's obvious to us this horrible injustice and all of its forms, but it's not obvious when you're part of it. It's it's this weird thing where you can't see it. It's, I don't know. I think it's a sociological. In a way, it's interesting how we work as humans, right? We're very tribal. We have the tribal mentality, and I guess we've had it since the beginning. When to survive, we had to go along with whatever the tribe or the village or whatever was saying, because we had to go all in one. We had to be all for one for all, in order to survive any harsh conditions and stuff like that. So it made sense to agree with everyone else, and it made sense to do whatever the heck everyone else was doing. I guess. And so it didn't really make any sense to defy that and be cast out of those groups, because then you're alone in this harsh world, whatever, and you have to face a lot of dangers and stuff. So that was how we evolved, basically. And today, maybe we feel that. We feel that ancient thing, that urge to belong to something, to not be, cast out or whatever. And well, we need to face those fears, and we need to understand that those fears are just a psychological trick, and that we need to get out of that, and we need to take that blindfold off and see reality for what it is, even though this reality is absolutely horrendous. Once we see it, it cannot be unseen. That's the other thing. Once you see this horrible world that we've built, and it's like that guy from They Live, that movie where the guy is wearing those sunglasses and he sees the actual reality, and he's absolutely, horrified by this and takes action. If you, to anyone who's seen that movie, and group identity and cultural conformity confers a survival benefit, not so relevant in the modern day, but still a powerful motive. Exactly, that's the thing. It comes from ancient times when it made sense to belong to a group, whatever. And we still do that today. I mean, you see it in everything, in politics, sports, whatever is very prevalent, that kind of tribal mentality. Oh, we're the blue team, so we hate the red team. We're the red team, so we hate the blue team. And in sports, politics, or whatever, religion, the same thing. It's like, oh, I belong to this crowd, so we don't like that other crowd, and and stuff like that. We see that even today. Um, so yeah, it's taken many forms, and we still have that. So it probably won't totally go away, but we do need to understand that if I don't change because others don't change, then how can others change? They can't, because I don't do it. therefore they don't do it because I'm not doing it. You see, it goes again to that. We go back to that circle reasoning thing where it's a never-ending cycle where I don't know. It's also kind of a defeatist mentality and a cop out basically. Like, oh, this we're not never gonna solve that. So I'm not. Why would I stand against an injustice that I'm not gonna resolve? But that's not how we act on other injustices, right? Because in the face of injustice, let me say, you're saying since the making as welcoming and supportive would be paramount. How do all the misanthropic vegans help in this regard? Well, I think the so-called misanthropic vegans, I think they're people who are appalled at when they see who they really are, when they see what they've been doing to the animals, to these innocent beings, when they see this horror that we've been, uh, perpetrating, whatever they feel. Maybe that's what they feel, and I'm just saying this because that's what happened to me at first. I felt like I was the worst person ever. I thought I don't know. It was horrible to me to see that I was this monster, and I didn't even know. I thought I was just a regular guy, just doing my thing, living my life, and no, I was this horrible person, basically, to these animals, these innocent victims that I had to my name. Um, and I think these misanthropic vegans happen because they realize what humans really are. They realize what they are. They realize what others are. And it's this effect where we now see the world for what it is. We now see what we've built and how we built it and how horrible it is. And we try to warn people about it. We tell our friends, our family members, whatever. We tell them, "Hey, look what this thing. We've been doing this to the animals, and it's wrong. We have to stop." And what do we get in return? Mockery, criticism, hatred, whatever. So obviously, you become jaded. You become demoralized, and you become yeah, you become angry, and maybe start feeling like maybe humanity is total garbage, in a way. um, it's weird for me because in a way, yes, I recognize that humans throughout history we have been trash. I mean, we have a record of garbage to our name, to the name of our species. But we can also, and this is the other thing that bothers me, that I know we're capable of good. We're capable of creating beautiful art and beautiful things and doing the right thing too, and building community, doing, great things. And we seem to not do that. We don't develop that side of us, that positive side, as much as we develop the negative side of humanity. And at some point, we're going to have to either we evolve to finally only be positive, or I don't know what's going to happen. Because it, and by the looks of it, it's just not going well, I still hold on to hope. Like I've said many times, I know many vegans don't. That's why they become, these weirdos who are like, extinctionists or whatever. And, I don't have that. I'm not gonna press a button to end the lives of every sentient creature or whatever. That's not me. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna write this thing. I'm gonna die on this hill, this veganism hill, where we're going to either make the world vegan or we're gonna die trying, and that's it. Yeah, veganism or barbarism. Yeah. So I'm gonna. That's that's it. That's the hill I'm gonna die on, and that's it. And I'm gonna take this message and I'm gonna deliver it, and I'm gonna. And whoever wants to listen to it or read about it or know about it, they'll know it and they'll get it if they do. If they don't, shame on them. It'll be on their conscience if they have a conscience to begin with. If they don't understand this message. So, um, yeah, so I was saying is that yes, the definition talks about humans and animals, but we also have to understand that there's a, you know, logical conclusions and that follow this thing. It's not just humans and animals, it's that we are sentient individuals who are moral agents. And it's important to understand that if we can tell right from wrong, then what we must do is the right thing, not the wrong thing. So that's it. So the wrong thing that we're doing is this horrible animal exploitation, um, in all of its forms, and for whatever reason it is, it doesn't matter, even if it seems like benevolent or it seems like benign or whatever. Like, oh well, what's wrong with a seeing eye dog? Like the blind guy needs, guidance, whatever. Why not a dog that guides the blind person, whatever? Well, because why should they? Like, why are we making a dog do this job or whatever? That doesn't make any sense. Why don't we do something? Why don't we create some other system to help the person, the visually impaired person? Um, why don't we do that instead of emotional support peacock? Well, what is that? There's no such thing as an emotional support peacock. I mean, it sounds ridiculous because I mean it is, but some people do have that. And I was like, what? That's not even a thing. And no, and I get it's difficult because we've built a world where we use animals for everything. So to not use them anymore seems like counterintuitive. Seems like why would we be doing that? And another piece of fiction that I think, if you think about it, if you watch it, you realize that that's what we do in real life, but it's not as visible. The Flintstones, you think about it, the shower is an elephant. The garbage disposal is like a warthog or something or someone like that. Even the remote control is like a pterodactyl or something like that, some kind of bird, ancient bird, whatever, that flies off the remote and pecks the buttons on the TV. So it's like we they use animals for everything. Their lamps, their decoration, whatever, and food obviously too, and clothing and all that. And they're also the appliances in the house and everything. And that's not very far from what we actually do because there's animals in everything, like I was saying earlier. So it's weird how we use animals for absolutely everything we don't even know. Um, and the things that we know, we need to stop it. And the ones that we don't know, they will stop at some point too. Um, so, yeah, it's important to understand that the reason why veganism exists is to stop the exploitation and the instrumentalization of these sentient, innocent beings from our part. And that's the thing that we can promise to the animals. This other thing about, the wild animals and the suffering and the stuff, which we will cover in other streams. But right now I wanted to talk about mostly about the definition itself and what it means to be vegan. And that's what it ultimately means. It means that you, as someone who knows what the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do is, you have to choose the right thing. I mean, it just that's what it is. So now I did have something. I just something prepared because I think it's important just to show you an example of what I mean. and how this is another thing that we'll cover in another live stream probably. But right now, I wanted to show this because I think it's important. I've been meaning to do this for quite a while. A while back, one of my videos, um, this this other activist was doing a reaction to different vegan channels, like that were up and coming, like unknown channels, and my channel, when it was turning veganese, if you remember that, I only had like 40 subscribers, something like that, and was like 2 years, 3 years ago, and I think it was 3 years or four, I don't remember now. It's a while back. So this guy, this David Ramsey, was doing these reactions to several videos of different vegans and stuff. It was a 10-hour live stream. And one of the first ones that he chose was my videos. So he reacted to, I think it was like 2 or 3 videos that I did. And on one of them, I have to say, just a moment, my classic mug, you know. Um, so in one of them, I think it's still on YouTube. I think you can still watch my video. It's called Meatless Mondays Doesn't Work. Here's why. And in that video, I now recognize that I wasn't really all that great with it. The words, the language I was using, and the message that I was giving wasn't entirely, you know, what it should be, what it should have been. But I was kind of getting there, and you'll see in a moment. You'll see in a moment what I said, and then you're gonna see his reaction and what he says, and you're gonna see the difference now there are in these two completely different ideas. The vegan idea, the vegan of not using animals because they don't belong to us, which is the reason behind veganism, and this other idea that you're gonna see in a moment. But this is important because we need to discuss this because it needs to be, we need to clear, we need to make things very clear now. So what you're going to hear from me and then from this other person is completely two different ideas, but here it is. Let me see this here, yes. And let's hear what I have to say about veganism and what this person has to say. And we're gonna compare notes. So here it is. You're not giving up anything. You're just stop. You're just stopping yourself from taking what's not yours in the first place. Okay, that was me in that video, and I think that was very clear. You're stopping yourself from taking what's not yours. Animals don't belong to us. Their lives don't belong to us. Their bodies, their secretions, whatever they do, whatever they have, it's not ours to take. It's theirs. It belongs to them. It's their life. It's separate from us. So, we shall not steal from them, and we shouldn't take these animals as if they were our property. And that's important to understand because we need to respect them as individuals, as the individuals that they are. And that's what veganism is about. Now, if we listen to the response, and we're going to in about a moment, just a moment, you're going to see the two ideas colliding here. And this is the moment when I started questioning many things. It's a moment when, even when I wasn't very clear, I was still under the influence of, this utilitarian, plant-based, utilitarian, welfarist message that I was receiving from other activists. I was starting to to get away from that and to see something else, to see what was really the core of the issue. And we're gonna see the response to what I said, which is we shouldn't take anything from the other animals, and we're gonna see the response from someone who claims to be an effective activist and a real vegan, and I'm not. Remember, I'm not, because hey, I don't do what this guy does or whatever. Well, let's hear it from this expert on the issue. Let's see what the real vegan has to say.
So, I'll make one critique here, AJ and anybody else who's interested in this. The argument that it's not yours to take is not, in my opinion, a good argument and not a good thing to say.
Well, interesting. It's not a good thing to say, and it's not the argument. And why would that be? Tell me, David Rams.
And I'll first of all, I'll give you a spicy take. I think it's kind of cultish when we say it.
You see, accusations of cult, accusations of, oh, vegan cult, vegan police, and stuff like that, right?
And it gives off this kind of vibe of it's a bit hack. It's a bit like culty, a bit hack. It's a bit manipulative.
Oh, cult, hack, manipulative, right? Interesting. So the message that animals don't belong to us, it's cultish, it's hack, it's manipulative. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. So, what's the argument? That animals do belong to us in some case? We'll see.
Because the reality is, nothing that we eat is ours to take.
Okay, again with the eat, bro. Yes, a mango doesn't, probably doesn't morally belong to you. But if a mango falls from a tree and you take it, or even if you take it from the tree without falling, whatever, you're not stealing from a tree. The tree is not an individual. The mango is not an individual. Just eat the mango, whether it's yours or not. Now, it's different if the mango tree is in your neighbor's property and it belongs to your neighbor, then it is property and it's not yours to take. Sure, you have to ask the neighbor first to eat the mango. I say mango because in my hometown, in my home country, mango trees are everywhere. What a blessing that was. But, I don't live there anymore, but whatever. But yeah, mangoes were everywhere, everywhere. So now, yes, a mango is not yours, but there's no moral conundrum here. It's just a mango. But when you take something from an animal, or you take the animal, that's a moral issue because the animal is an individual with their own life and their own things. That's why it's wrong. But continue with your nonsense, Ramsey.
A mushroom is not ours to take and doesn't belong to us.
You see? Well, now you have to demonstrate that a mushroom is a sentient being for me to give a flip.
It's its own life. It grows and it's a mushroom. We harvest it, right?
Yes, but is it a sentient individual? Is it or is it not? I don't know.
Pretty much all vegetables the same.
Yes, but vegetables, again, are not individuals. They're vegetables.
They're not ours to take. They just exist. They are. And we harvest them for ourselves, right?
Yes, but that's not what an animal is. Yes, they exist. Yes, they are. But they're also sentient with their own minds, their own instincts, their own feelings and thoughts and personalities, just like you. You see, you're listening to this. Yeah, right.
Right? We take them for ourselves. Most things that operate operate like that, like growing in the wild, we cut them or chop them or whatever for ourselves, or we take seeds and we grow it, but it's not ours to take necessarily. I think that is quite a weak argument. I think the
No, you know what the weak argument is, Ramsey? The weak argument is that you can do whatever the heck you want to an animal as long as the animal doesn't suffer. That's the weak argument.
better way to phrase it with stuff like, oh, the milk's not for us, the milk's not ours to take. It doesn't matter if it's ours to take or not. It matters about the violation of that other being's rights. Is
Bro, again with the violations and the rights and stuff. Dude, the milk is not yours. Why the heck are you taking it? It belongs to the freaking cow. And in fact, the cow is not ours too, either. It's not ours. And we made these modern cows that exist are just a mutant from another animal that we drove to extinction to make them into this docile, domesticated bovine creature who produces enormous amounts of milk because we want to steal it, because we want to make a product out of it. Whether it's for profit, pleasure, or for whatever reason, that's what we do to them, and we shouldn't. And I already told you why we shouldn't. And I already told you what was wrong about it. It's not what you're saying, Rams. It's not.
there someone that's being violated by my action? For example,
Yes, if you steal from somewhere, you're violating them. You're violating their space. You're disrupting their their very existence. Even if they can, if they notice, whether they notice or not, whether they suffer or not, doesn't matter. It's not yours, so don't freaking take it, Rams. I don't know how difficult it is to understand this concept.
if there were a cow that, okay,
Yeah, let's see the this example of the rescue cow. This is gonna be absolutely beautiful, people. This is gonna be beautiful because this is the definitive proof of what I've been saying for the better part of the year and last year and probably since 2024. And this is the issue here. This is what we're fighting against too. This horrible misinformation and this horrible idea that is not veganism, but it's being passed around as if it was. What he proposes is plant-based utilitarianism based on welfare. What I propose is veganism based on the deontic principle of no exploitation.
okay, if there were a cow that you rescued the cow while she was pregnant, okay? Now she's in your home and she gives birth, and the calf unfortunately doesn't survive the birth, okay? Now you have a cow and she's got the milk. You're going to need to milk her because there's no calf taking the milk, and she's going to be in some form of distress if you don't milk her somewhat, right? So for the sake of her health, you very not much, but you milk her like, I don't know how often it would be to do to make it, so that she wouldn't be like in any harm or any distress or anything. But whatever, you milk her as much as the calf would have been doing, and then once that's done, you stop. If you drank that milk, just because it's not yours to take, that doesn't make it unethical or wrong.
And there you have it. And by the way, he made quotation marks when he said, just because it's not yours to take. He said it like that. You've heard it from the clown's mouth himself. So you can't accuse me of paraphrasing or, you know, or what is this, straw manning or anything. He said it. That's what he literally just said. Well, not just now, but years ago when he made the video. But that's what he thinks. Types argumentation may be effective in any given state. Nothing wrong with putting it in honest terms, easy to understand, as it may certainly lead to more clarification. Yeah, but in this case, he's giving you a terrible, terrible take. A total misrepresentation of veganism, mischaracterization of vegans, calling us cultists and hacks and manipulative. And remember, he has a big audience. So he's telling this, he's giving this message to his audience, and he's giving me this piece of advice to me as an activist at that point. And remember, I'm under the influence of these people, these Eds and Joey Carstrongs and David Rams at that point in time. And this is the stuff he's feeding me.
It exists whether you drink it or not. and you've rescued this cow. This cow is not a product, and that milk, what you could feed it to cats, you could feed it to dogs, you could, of course, you could do lots of things with that milk to help other animals. But if if you decided to take a drink of it, there's no ethical problem with that.
I'm in agreement with you. Well, exactly. Well, he said, you see, he says there's nothing unethical, you see? That's what he's saying. Well, it's not wrong. You rescued the cow. As if now the cow what? Owes me a favor or something? Like owes me something? Or like what? Oh man, like yes, the cow is not a product anymore because you rescued her. Yes. But when you drink from her milk, now you've made her milk a product for you. She produced the milk, you took it, you drank it, therefore it's now a product. Whether you paid for it at a supermarket or you took it yourself makes no difference because the animal victim is still there. You're stealing from the cow. Yes, in the, you know, until the point where you're okay, you're milking the cow to help her with the whatever health issue, whatever. Okay, I understand that part in a way, but don't drink that milk. It doesn't belong to you. It's not a product for you.
I mean, obviously, it's kind of weird, right? We know that, but it's still not. It's not yours to take. But it doesn't. That's not what makes it wrong. What makes it wrong is that there's an entire industry that's breeding these animals and violating their rights and taking their babies away and constantly impregnating them.
Uh, you see, that's what we're fighting against. Oh, it's the industries. It's the industries. Yes, and where did you rescue the cow from, Ramsey? From the freaking industries, my guy. So you took a victim or a would-be victim of exploitation, brought her to your home, and then decided to exploit her again. Like, man, it's I don't know, man. Like, I don't think this could be any clearer. Two completely different approaches here. Plant-based utilitarian approach. Well, the cow, is in your home. You rescued her, so it's okay. It's a bit weird to drink milk, but it's not wrong. Like what? Well, first of all, it's not weird. Everyone basically does it. So weird. We're past that weird phase. Whatever. Weird it was when the first guy did it. That was weird. Because what was the thought process for that? Like the first guy to drink milk from a cow. Like what was he thinking? But and why the hell did it catch on as a concept? Like why the heck other people were like, oh yeah, cow teeth juice, yeah, let's give me some of that. Like what was how did that happen? I don't know, but no, the argument is for veganism. The argument for veganism is that animals don't belong to us because they're sentient individuals with their own lives. Yes, they're not our property. We're ending the property status of animals and giving them their individual status. And we're respecting their being. So when you say that that's not the issue, but that the issue is that there's an industry, as a means, the industry is just a consequence of our mentality of every one of us. We are the industries. That's something that I finally figured out not too long ago, that we are these industries. We can point the finger all we want at all of these companies and industries and all you want. But the reality is they're just a consequence of ourselves. They're just a reflection of our society at large. We made them happen because we wanted to use animals, and other people saw the opportunity to make a quick buck with the animal. You know, they thought, hey, maybe we can, take advantage of this, or there's a way in which we can share this thing with as many people as we can that we all want, and make it, industrialized so that everyone can access it, or many people can access it, and everybody wants it. Everybody's happy, right? Well, but what happens when they don't want it anymore? There's no industry. So instead of pointing out at an industry that only exists because we make it into existence, we put them there and we keep them alive with our mentality, because it all starts here in our minds, not on our plates, not on some CEO's office. It starts with us inside our brains when we're thinking, and we're thinking that the animals are whatever it is that we want to do with them. No, they're not. So when we change that mentality and we now reverse this thing and we say no, we're not gonna participate in this injustice anymore. That's the thing. Oh, hello, Revolta, my good friend. Oh, nice to see you here. Um, it's great to see you. Welcome here. And yeah, right now we are reacting to some ridiculous nonsense from a plant-based utilitarian. As always, it's fun. Well, it's actually necessary. But yeah, that's what finally made it. Yes, that's right. Thank you for being here. So what I was going with this is that yes, again, animals don't belong to us. They're not our steak. Nothing they produce is for us. So don't take it. It's wrong to do so. That's it. I don't understand how this concept is like, oh, it's cultist, it's hack, it's what. No. What's manipulative, what's hack, and what's cultist is what he's saying. Oh, no, it's what the issue is that there's an industry behind it. Like, no, there's only an industry because we made the industry happen.
That's the problem. All of that's the problem. Not just the fact that they make milk and then people drink the milk. That in itself is not inherently a problem. It's when it.
You see, that's what he's saying. I'm not making it up, people. He's saying, blatantly stating, that there's no problem in and of itself in drinking another individual's secretions. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know how else can I expose this, but it's out there. It's like it, but at least it's not me strawmanning anyone. He's saying it, so you're hearing it here first. So there you go. It's not, you know, not making it up. That's what they're saying, and that's what he thinks, and that's what his pals, also think. All the other, you know, uh, plant-based utilitarian debate bros. That's what they all think. So that's their idea, and that idea is not veganism. So the idea that is veganism is that animals don't belong to us. They belong to themselves. So I hope I've made this very clear, because man, we have to make it clear. We have to finally start delivering the actual message, and not some wonky message of anti-industry or whatever, supply and demand, when the supply and demand only happens because of our mentality in the first place.
It's being like a baby suffers because you drank their milk, or that mother suffers because you impregnated them and then keep on impregnating them for milk. These are the issues here.
No, that's not the issue, because even if they didn't suffer, like your uh, argument of the rescued cow, it's still wrong to do so.
It's the violations of their rights, not the fact that it's not ours to take. So I think it's just super important that we nail that down, and try to avoid a kind of like a. It sounds good. The phrase sounds good. This catchphrase, but it's not ours to take. It sounds powerful, but as I said, it's hack. It's a bit.
No, it's not. It's not that it sounds good. It's not like a catchphrase. It's just a reality. Other beings don't belong to us. That's it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, oh man, oh man. That's like saying, well, stealing a baby. That's not the issue, because well, the issue is that the mother suffers. Like, no, the issue is that the baby's not yours. you know, man, the animals are doomed. Yeah, they are. sadly they are doomed, and we are doomed as a species as well. It's just that, you know, that countdown to the doom clock, whether, you know, it's probably way past midnight at this point, where we're doomed. It's or like the kids are saying today, we're cooked. You know, the entire world is cooked right now. We're done. That's it. There's no saving this. Man, poor animals, man. They're not gonna be free because people don't understand. The people who are supposed to be advocating for freedom, advocating for whatever it is except freedom. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you want to shift the blame. This is the other thing that these other activists do. If you shift the blame from the person, the individual, partaking in this injustice against animals, and you tell them, no, there's an industry out there. You make it so that there's like this faceless, invisible enemy that you're fighting, and it's not your fault as a person. It's not you, it's the industries. They're making you do this thing. Like, no, it's you. You're the one with the mentality that others belong to you. And this happens to in the context of veganism with the animals. It happens in the context of men using women for whatever it is, and white people using black people, and the whole thing, like the whole thing is every instance of injustice is within the same thing, that is the mentality that led to those things happen. And only when we correct the mentality is that when those things stop, not when, no, oh no, it's because they suffer, it's because there's an industry. Like, it doesn't matter if it's an industry, it's you have to be doing the right thing, whether there's an industry or not. Doesn't concern you. What concerns you is that you need to stop yourself. And then by stopping yourself and stopping others and telling them, hey, dude, this is wrong. We need to, correct course here and start doing the right thing. Then others will do the right thing and these industries will freaking vanish. But until then, we're just going to have these kind of conversations and debates and endless nonsense because we're not understanding the core issue here. And we're pretending that we're fighting this, giant industry, when the reality is that we are the industry. Every human is the freaking industry. So I wanted to react to that. I hope that it was very clear through that example what was veganism, was not, and to refresh a little bit for the people just arriving and stuff. And Marlene, if you saw the what I was reacting to. You remember, well, you remember that because we we were awake for that when it was like the late at night, that we were awake for the David Rams, that live stream that he did a few years ago when he was reacting to a few different channels, and he was reacting, and he did a reaction to my channel and to some of my videos. What we were doing was reacting to the reaction, basically. And I was just pointing out something that I didn't like back then, but I didn't want to say anything because I was grateful that he was reacting to that and whatever. But right now, enough time has passed that I can finally do this, and enough has happened, so I can finally do this. And I was reacting to the moment in one of my videos where I say that when you're vegan, you don't stop. Basically, you stop taking what's not yours in the first place, and that you're not depriving yourself of anything that you own. That you're just not taking what's not yours in the first place. And he had a problem with that. And his reaction is that no, that was wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is all the suffering and the industries and the stuff. And not that we take animals as products and that we use them. That's not the thing that's wrong. And oh man, it's his take is completely, that's a, no, it's a total L take. And now we're seeing it here. And the beauty of this is that he, if he cannot claim that I'm strawmanning his position, because I'm just showing what he said. So it's there is recorded. He said it. So um, I'm not I'm not lying here. I'm not presenting something like a wrongful thing. I'm presenting exactly as he said it. So that's the two completely different ideas. There's this welfarist, neo-welfarist idea of you can do whatever to an animal as long as they don't seemingly suffer, versus the idea of animals don't belong to you, so don't do anything to them. That's it. Um, that's the two completely different things, and um, that's it. They're trying to pass that other idea, that welfarist idea, as veganism, but it's not. And this is dangerous and it's infuriating because that way the animals will never truly be free. And that's what I had to say. So yeah, it's been an hour. Yes, that's right. And yeah, earlier I was discussing the blinded by that whole squad because of the funny content, but sadly their views in front of us. Yeah, exactly. And the thing that sounds good to say is what he's saying because it sounds good that someone tells you, hey, it's not you, there's an industry that's doing this. You feel less guilty and you feel like, oh, it's not, it's an industry. We're fighting an industry. Like, no, it's not the industries. It's not that there's supply and demand. It's not that someone makes money with that. It's that we're using someone else and when we shouldn't. And we're commodifying and in objectifying these creatures, and and we shouldn't do that. Even if we rescue them, if you rescue a cow, their milk doesn't belong to you. The you know it, man, it's I don't know. I already said it, so I don't know how else can I say it. How else can I expose this thing? But it's just what it is. This completely different idea, a completely different thing, nothing to do with veganism. What he's saying, so I don't know, man. It's But then if you tell them, hey, you're a welfarist, you're a utilitarian, they're like, no, no, I'm not. I know what veganism is. Yeah, well, do you? Because it doesn't look like, it doesn't seem like you do. But, and yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, it was basically something that I wanted to say today. It was um, yeah, because today I wanted to talk about more about what veganism is, and then probably uh, do another video where I talk about what veganism isn't, because that's gonna be an issue altogether. It's gonna be a whole video because there's many things. There's so many things. Veganism is getting attacked from all fronts, basically, from the typical non-vegans to the utilitarians, the extinctionists, the climate change people, whatever. The the intersections. Everyone is attacking veganism from any other angle, so we need to defend it. So we're gonna do that in probably in the next one. But just as a preview, I mean, what veganism is not is all of these ideas, the exploitation of sentient life, whether it's profitable or not. Donald Watson. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Donald Watson was on the right track when he said that. I mean, the issue is not the making that you're making money of this thing. Sure, making money off an animal is wrong, but that's not the thing that's wrong. That's just a consequence, or one of the many consequences of our mentality towards these individual sentient beings. That we think we can make a profit off them. We can make money with them because they're just things. They're just it's just a cow. It's just a hen. It's just a chicken. So it's a problem. But no, they have a life of their own, and we need to respect that. So yeah, that's what it is, and I hope that today I've been able to clarify some of that. Probably there's still so much more to say. If anybody wants to say something else or ask some kind of question or something like that, feel free to do so. We're in the Q&A version of the portion of the video. Yeah, water. So yeah, let me see. Stance against exploitation. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. And that's another thing, right? Like one of the to give you kind of a preview, one of the arguments against, the the original vegan society and the concept of veganism and all that is that, well, it's old and those people are dead, and you know and it's from like ancient times, whatever. Like, okay, but something being old doesn't mean that it's invalid. Like, the argument for veganism is still valid today, just as it was 80 years ago. It's still valid because it's the same thing. We live in the same animal exploiting society that we did back in the day. So when these things started, it's still the same idea. The idea that animals don't belong to us, it's timeless. It's not gonna doesn't have an expiration date. And it should be permanent. It should be a permanent idea, because we should always have that in mind, that other life forms that are sentient and stuff like that, they don't belong to us. So maybe don't do this thing to them. Maybe we need to check out what we're doing, and we need to really reflect on it, and see that what we've been doing all along, it's been wrong. And I know it's a difficult thing to take. It's your entire world can change at that moment, but you have to go through that. It's something that we all have to go through at some point. It happened to me, and it's gonna happen to you, future vegan, watching this thing. It's gonna happen to you at some point. You're gonna have to fight against yourself and realize that, yeah, you've been wrong all this time, and now you have to do the right thing. So that's the thing. Um, so anyway, I think we can leave it up to here right now. If anyone else has something they want to share or something like that, then yeah. Okay. David Arenas is here. Nice. Yellow, are you saying that Rams is a barefaced penis who has profited from the label vegan by distorting its meaning and presenting it as a welfare stance, AJ? Why, yes, my dear David Arenas. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, these guys, they have co-opted the vegan message. They have co-opted what veganism means. They twisted it into whatever they want it to be, so that they can turn a profit and become these influencers or whatever. And it's sad that this happened, but it did, and now we have to correct this thing too. It's another injustice that we have to correct. This is not a right thing to do, and no, it's not a good thing. It's not even a good thing to do. Like, even if the argument was like, no, but with this other message, we're more effective. We've heard that too. That, oh, this other message this is more effective. It's more effective to talk about the pain and the suffering and the well-being of animals than their freedom. That doesn't make sense to me, because, okay, so you're gonna set them free by never mentioning that they should be free, and why? I don't know. I don't think that's what's gonna set them free. Cool. Good to have a confirmation about it from different activists who have opened their eyes. Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. I know you've been accused of being this, uh, cult leader or whatever, or creating this weird thing, or just being a wacko, you know, saying whatever. But no, I now see what you were trying to tell me all those years ago, and also this Ruben, he was also telling me about it, and other activists as well, a few others, but I wasn't really. I don't know. It's difficult once you're under the influence of this. Rams guys, it's difficult to the Unabomber. Right, yeah. I mean, it's difficult to get out of that once you're in there. Once you're hooked to their content, it's kind of difficult. You start consuming the their content. You start thinking like they think. They start telling you, start molding you into another one of them. And I was on the fast track to becoming like that, and I'm glad that I was stopped, and that now hey, at least I'm trying, to do the right thing and to say the right thing. And am I doing it or not? I don't know. I hope I am, because that's what I want to do. I want to do right by the animals, and the only way is to clear the air, and to make it very clear as to what veganism is, what it isn't, and all that. So I think it's an important mission. The education part of it should not be overlooked, which I think has been a horrible mistake on the part of many activists. Reemergence of Jurovsky. Well, my thoughts are a big disappointment, but not the same, not from the same reasons that many have an issue with him, because there's this thing, right? There's this, oh man, there's these intersectionals, woke leftists who hate Jurovsky because the guy is, in like pro-Israel or whatever, which is not even a vegan, nothing to do with animals deserving to be free, but okay. So they hate him for that. So that there's that controversy, and then he's being attacked from the likes of the your friends, Yates and Atkinson and those people, because he's a misanthropic vegan and stuff like that. So he's not nice. He's hateful and stuff like that. So, and he's brash and crass and whatnot. So they hate him because of that. And it's like, bro, I mean, not saying hate the guy. I'm just saying, if you're gonna criticize something about him, criticize his now ultra welfarist stance against pain and suffering, and his absolute clam take on wild animals suffering. That's what should be criticized. The Israel stuff or the other stuff, that's neither here nor there. I wish he didn't say anything about it, but you know, he's outspoken, that he is, we know, and he has no filter, and that's just who he is. And I wish he just, you know, stayed with the animal stuff and not human issue stuff. But well, I don't know, man. I guess, but that's the thing. Like his take is now a welfarist utilitarian thing, where he was even trying to compete. Like, oh no, who came up with the idea of like killing lions? No, no, it was Vegan Games. No, it was Abby. No, it was Jurovsky. Like, what? Really? They were all fighting. Who came up with with this ridiculous idea of policing nature, and like what? And they call us the vegan police? I don't know, man. You're fighting who came up with this horrible idea, this anti-vegan idea, and it's like, bro, that's not something to brag about. That's not something that you're fighting like, oh, I came up with it. No, I will be fighting to the opposite. Like, I did not come up with it. That's what I would be defending. It's not my idea. Like when some idiots are saying that, oh, vegans want us to eat bugs and stuff. Like, no, that's not what we want. That's not what we're about. So it's not a vegan idea to eat insects. So absolutely not. Well, the same for this lion thing. Like, it's not a vegan idea. So no. this contest to see who came up with it and who's more vegan than other, because I don't even want to, like no, that's not a thing. There's no hierarchy of who's more vegan or who's less vegan or anything like that. Um, any idea that is not that we the humans have the responsibility to not exploit um, the other sentient beings other than humans, that's outside veganism. That's not a vegan thing, and sometimes it's even anti-vegan, like you know um, choosing who gets to exist or who doesn't based on your perception of pain and suffering and whatnot. Veganer than cross, yeah, exactly, yeah. And no, that's not a thing. You don't get to decide over other individuals' lives. That's why I'm against this idea of the button to wipe out all sentient life in the world or the universe or whatever. That's not your decision to make. Just because you're depressed doesn't mean everyone else wants to not exist. But that's a completely different issue altogether. Um, None of that, and that's the important thing that we must understand, that none of it justifies us exploiting the other animals. None. Whatever you feel about the Middle East, or whatever you feel about who gets to go to which bathroom, whatever, none of that justifies us exploiting the other animals. So, and whatever lions do or not do, that doesn't justify what we do, and nothing else justifies that. We have to correct ourselves, and we have to put an end to this injustice that we're committing. And there's nothing that should stand in the way of that. We should put an end to this. There's no argument against it. There's no valid argument against veganism. So that's it. That's what I had to say. So yeah, these ideas that, oh no, I'm more vegan because this what was they called it, it was something. I saw this live stream where they were these vegans who consume Bibles, like Bible vegan. I was like, what the heck? That's not a thing, man. Still just giving labels, like dietary labels to veganism, like, oh, ovo lacto whatever. Like, no, that's not a thing. Vegan means someone against the exploitation of animals. That's it. Nothing to do with a diet or whatever. That would be like saying I'm a leatherist vegan, so I'm vegan but I wear leather sometimes. Like, no, that's not a thing. Well, that would be weird to say. So why are we saying Bible vegan or shrimp eating vegan or whatever? Like, that's not a thing. Um, it's weird, man. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand these people really, but I don't know. But yeah, that's basically what I had to say today. I don't know if anyone else has any other thing to say or to share or something, a question or whatever, but we can start saying good to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bioveganist, yeah. Was based, but to separate yourself and call yourself a Bible vegan, that's not a thing. Like, why you make that label? Like, even if you thought, well, Bibles are not sentient or whatever, you're not a Bible consuming vegan. You're either a vegan or you're not. And to the Bibles, I just apply the precautionary principle, whatever, because we don't know, but actually, there's more and more mounting evidence that they are sentient. So I'm just gonna leave them alone anyway, and that's what I'm gonna do. Um, so to attach a label, a dietary label to your veganism, that's never gonna be a good thing. Yes, can vegans, yeah. Like, oh, I'm a clam vegan, or I'm a morsel vegan, or I'm a, whatever. Horse riding vegan because horses need exercise. Like, what? No, absolutely not. That's not a thing. I'm sorry, people, but no. That's not a thing. That's not a vegan, and that's not what we're about. So yeah. Um, so I wanted to say today, um, I really think it's important for whoever missed that part, the part where I react to that David Ram's video. I think it's important to watch it because it's important to clarify what's veganism and what's not, and the ideas that some people are putting out there and trying to pass it off as veganism when it isn't, and the dangers of that. So yeah, as always, be aware of the dangers, be aware of the scams, the David scams of the world, and don't fall for it, and be vegan and don't be an unquet. So I think we can start saying our goodbyes. See, it's great to have you here, the vegan pundit, Ali, Marlene, David, everyone who was here. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Hopefully, probably this week or sometime next week or something. So it's gonna be really good. We're gonna start reading. That's the other thing. We're gonna start reading that Metazoa book that I have. I'm going completely blind. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it says. I don't know anything in the book. And we're gonna discover it together. And we're gonna see what it's all about. It's a nice book that a cousin of mine he gave me as a gift, and I want to read it. It's apparently about this guy who investigated like the octopus or some other form of life or whatever, and let's see what conclusions they arrive. Let's see if they became vegan or not, and what happens, what kind of ideas we see in that book. So, all right, thank you, Pandit, thank you, Marlene, and yeah, bye, Valves, exactly. All right, bye, everyone. Thank you for being here, and see you in the next one. Bye.